Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday morning art talk. Whippy! So before we get started, just want to let you know, if you happen to be in Seattle or going to Emerald City Comic Con, I will be there and also be doing a schoolism workshop, and that's coming up, I believe, almost like next week already. And then also I've found a location in Florida. I'm going to be coming to Florida to do a workshop there. That's going to be in June. So once again, look at silvertunes.com/events and you can see all the upcoming workshops and things going. If you hear a little scratching and everything back there, that's my little Chihuahua mixed dog trying to get into my studio. And I don't want her in here because then she's going to want to leave and I'm going to have to keep getting up. So it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's kind of killing me. Coco! Ay, ay, ay. You gotta go to her in order for her to do something. Okay, so today, what I wanted to talk about, I had an idea. You know what? It's actually killing me. The scratching of the door. It's nails on the chalkboard. So hold on. Coco, come on, come inside. Come on. Now you're gonna stay inside. Okay. Okay. Coco, say hello to everyone. Say, I'm in my sweater and it's cold outside and I wanted to be in your studio, so let me in. And I'm just going to put you on my lap, and now you have to stay on my lap. Don't say nothing stupid. Okay. So today what I wanted to do, I had a different plan for an art talk of what I wanted to talk about. I usually write them down and know where I kind of want to go just with that topic. But I got an email from someone and they had a bunch of questions that they wanted me to just respond to. And I thought, I usually always do. I'll always respond. Those of you who have emailed me, you know that I kind of will get back to you. Maybe not right away, but I'll usually try to get back to you within a timely manner. So with this, I thought, you know what, this would make a great art talk, sort of just answering questions, because it's a lot of, and why I'm doing this is because people contact me all the time and have questions for me, and usually it's always the same question. So I thought, well, maybe I might, you know, be able to address a lot of people's same thoughts getting into it. So this person was, I don't know if they wanted me to mention them or not, but so anyway, but basically they're studying animation, and they were wondering if I would be able to answer a couple of questions, and it's more than a couple questions, but I have regarding the animation industry. So I thought, you know, this might be a good chance just to discuss. For those of you who are in the animation industry, already know the answers most likely. Those of you who aren't and wanting to get into the animation industry, you may find this helpful. So let me just go through some of these questions. So question number one, did you face any difficulties when entering the animation industry? Now, this is a tough question to ask people. I feel sometimes that when people are asking this type of question, it's if I told that person, an individual, yeah, I had so many difficulties, it was very hard, I struggled, it was that. Oftentimes that puts this little seed in someone's mind which starts to go, oh God, it's going to be so hard and it's going to be so difficult, I'm not even going to try, or I'm not going to put in as much effort. And so it's a tough thing. But personally, my own story is I didn't have difficulties or struggles entering. The only difficulties I had getting into the animation industry was putting in the amount of hours to build up my artwork and my discipline and my draftsmanship to get someone to even look at my portfolio. So that's where the difficulties are going to happen. The difficulties will happen, and I never knew anyone. And the thing is that a lot of time, well, I guess I got to take that back. It's not that I knew someone. I had met someone who introduced me, who got me through the door. So that's where connections happen. But I never went to the art school. I didn't have all these connections and people. I didn't meet people at conventions, all these things. They didn't really exist back then when I was starting. They had San Diego Comic-Con and a few others, but nothing like they have today. But the difficulties, I didn't really face any difficulties at all. It was just having met someone, reaching out to them, being persistent, contacting them, saying, I'd like to show you my portfolio. And they actually took the initiative and mentioned, hey, why don't you come up to Warner Brothers and let me take a look at it? And it moved beyond there. So it wasn't so much of a struggle for me to get in. Like I said, the only struggle, the difficulties you're going to have are building up your portfolio and your chops to get you there, all right? So sometimes you're going to fall into an animation studio because an animation studio is desperate and they're looking for people, and this is usually those smaller animation studios, and they just need people. So they're going to come to the school and they're putting it out there, hey, we need artists, we need animators, we need this, that, and the other, and okay, it looks like you can hold a pencil, we'll take you, you know. So maybe that person's not 100% prepared, but they'll get that opportunity, and other times they won't. So do yourself a favor and don't waste your youth and your time just goofing around too much, playing video games all the time, or not effectively working on your skill set, okay? Number 2, how satisfied are you with your job? I love my job. I love the fact that I get to do what it is that I love to do, that I don't have to wear a suit and a tie, and I can get to draw. Sometimes, again, you're going to be on productions where the show that you're working on might be very heavy, very difficult. When I say heavy in character related, prop related, background design related, story related. There's a lot of things that you could work on a specific TV production or a show and just be like, oh God, this is killing me. This is horrible. And you dread having to work on certain things. But for the most part, just working in the job is very satisfying. I mean, think about it. Being able to do work in something in the industry, working, doing something in your life that you get to just say, man, I got to live my life as an artist. How cool is that? If you can do that, when you get to retire, that your great-grandchildren, if you're lucky to have them, say, my great-grandfather was an artist, and here's his work that I have from all those years, or your kids or your grandkids, and or just you. You were an artist your whole life. That's awesome. So that's a great goal to strive for, and not say, I worked in the factories and I was a mortgage broker my whole life and I just sold insurance my whole life and did something boring like that. I'm sorry for all the people that do that. Listen, I know you want to do something more exciting than just selling insurance. All right. What are your biggest achievements? You know, some of my biggest achievements were getting into the animation industry and making a living at doing this, and publishing my own books and publishing my own apps and starting my own art school and doing all the things that I've wanted to do. And that's where achievements come from. And an achievement is when you set out to do a goal and you accomplish it, and you don't just sit and talk about it, because then you're not achieving anything. So the reality is just following through with things you want to do in life, and achievements, having kids, you know, and raising my kids, and staying married and being an artist, and being married for 19 years already, and know in my mind that I'm going to be married to my wife my whole life. I never want to get a divorce. You know, I want to have a successful marriage. I want to have a successful life, raise my kids well. Those are all these little milestones. Again, there's never one big thing. It's always, achievements are built on many things, all right? Many little goals, all right? You're going to start at the bottom of a mountain, and you're going to reach that plateau and that peak, and you're going to want to keep going to the next one, and then you're going to come down off that mountain, and then the next summer or winter, you're going to go on that next hike, and it's this constant rotation of goals, okay? Why did you decide to go into animation? I decided to go into animation just purely on the fact that I just wanted to try it. I never went, like I mentioned, I never went to art school or anything. I never did that, never went to school for animation. I thought I was going to be a caricature artist my whole life and set up concessions and hire artists and do freelance for magazines and go that route. And I kind of got sidetracked into animation just simply on the idea that I learned about it. I contacted someone, I sent a portfolio, and I went on this whole other journey, you know, which has just been awesome. But that's why I got into animation. And the reality is because I love drawing. I love drawing cartoons, and caricature and character design to me are one and the same. So that's why it sort of really worked out. What kind of income can I expect should I decide to... Okay, so what kind of income can I expect should I decide to become an animator? This is a big problem, guys. You do not get into this art field. You can make good money in this industry, okay? I'm not going to lie about that, but you can make no money in this industry. It depends on how good you are, how persistent you are, how active you are. There's a lot of different scenarios. And are you good at saving money? Are you not good at saving money? But just usually, I'll just give you a basis, just on average. Again, this is going to cover a lot of different areas, but just on average, so I don't have to list everything. If you're working in the United States at an animation studio that's union, which means that it's union. It's called the Local 839 Union, which is the animation guild for artists out here. But not every studio is union. The union, what it does, it's supposed to protect you with your jobs and all that, but it doesn't in a lot of ways, unfortunately. The best thing you get from being in the union is the health insurance, in all honesty. I don't see too many other benefits, and I've been in the union for many years, but you know, sometimes they'll try to stand up and say something, but we have it in the union contract that we can't strike, where you get writers, they can go on strike, and all these other people, they can go on strike. But, you know, so we don't really have too many bargaining chips, and that's why people get bamboozled a lot. So the union can be a lot stronger, in my opinion, if you ask me. But on an average, let's say, depends on you character designer, prop, storyboard artist, background designer. I'm just going to give the average number. Some people are making a little less, some people are making more. So on average, in the United States, at a studio, you can expect to make roughly about $1,700, $1,800 a week, per week, okay? So that's on average. Of course, some people are making $1,400, $1,500. Some people are making $2,200. $3,000 a week. So there's a broad range, but on average is around $1,800 a week. But again, you don't get into this for the money. You do it because this is all you want to do. You don't want to do anything else. I don't want to work anywhere else. This is all I want to do is work. So I'm going to do everything that I can to keep bettering myself to work and hope for the best that I'm going to make that, and know that I better save my money, because studios, the minute they're done with me, they're going to kick me out. They're going to say, don't let the door hit you in the arse. And that's what it's going to be. You're going to be thrown out onto the streets, and then you got to put your portfolio together again and try to get the next job. So it's a very bumpy road. So you got to be prepared for this journey. So you could be making a lot of money, but all of a sudden you're not making any money. So that's why you want to make sure that you're saving. Okay. What kind of job opportunities are there in the animation industry? Well, there's a lot of job opportunities in the animation industry. I mean, depending if you want to work on the production side, where you're, you know, just doing, you could be you could even be just a production coordinator. You could be a script writer. You could be, I mean, there's so many. This is something that honestly, I'm not going to name them all. You got to kind of just type in animation jobs and see, but you could be a modeler. You could be an animator. You could be a cleanup artist. You could be a background designer. You could be a character designer, storyboard artist, storyboard revisionist, prop designer, color stylist, and on and on and on. There's so many different jobs that I haven't mentioned here, so there's a lot. But I always recommend trying to develop and be good at one skill. Don't try to be jack of all trades and master of none. Some studios would like you to do many different things, and if you can, good, but maybe you're not great at all of them, and I usually see that. I've never seen anyone that's fantastic at everything. It's very rare that someone can do just everything, and there are a couple out there, but they're very few and far between. So try to pick something that you truly love, you're passionate about, and work on that, okay? Do you ever regret entering the animation industry? Absolutely not. I mean, it changed my life, it formed my career. There's nothing, I think it's such a great opportunity for people who want to be artists, because think about it. Think about before the animation studios and television animation. I don't know how many years that goes back, but let's go back to Hanna-Barbera, way back towards Tom and Jerry and the Flintstones and all that. How many years ago was that? I don't know. But was that back in the 50s or so, the 60s? So, but then television animation, to what we know today, with as much content as there is, isn't that old. It's only maybe about 25 years old or so, maybe a little bit more, 30 years old. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but it's not that old. So where did people, all these artists, get work? Unless they were hired at a feature animation studio where they could get work doing that and hiring animators. Maybe they were doing children's book and magazine illustrations, and they were doing illustrations for just, you know, when you look at the great illustrations like Rockwell and all these guys before that, and these gag cartoonists and people who are doing comic strips, there wasn't that much work. That was where, when you wanted to be a cartoonist back then, you were just like, well, what are my options? Well, I'll try to make my own comic strip, try to do a comic book, try to get into comics. And where was it? It wasn't as much as it is today. So there's a lot more opportunities today, because there's a lot more jobs today for artists, and licensing and apparel and publishing, and it goes on and on and on. There's a list. But again, the bottom line is get good, and then you open up the doors to all these other opportunities. So that's the bottom line, okay? What inspired you to be a character designer? I didn't even know what a character designer was when I got hired in the industry. So what inspired me was just going and getting brought into Warner Brothers, where I, for the first time, learned what a character designer was. So I didn't even know that job existed. But what inspired me to draw caricatures was I loved drawing humans. I loved the human figure. I loved the human face. I loved people and characters and animals. And that's what inspired me, was for that love of doing that. I didn't love drawing backgrounds. I didn't love drawing props. I didn't love painting. I didn't love animating. I just loved sketching people from life. So drawing people from life led me to be a character designer. Do you feel as if your works are making a contribution to society? I don't feel that my work is contributing to society, or work that I've done for studios, other than maybe making and informing children's childhoods. One of my greatest achievements that I think, I love when people come up to me and go, man, you were my childhood. It's like, wow, that's awesome that I drew and designed something that changed made people want to do something and get into it. But I feel my contribution to society is doing this, is doing the art talks that I do, and responding to people's emails, and doing the lectures that I do, and teaching all the time, and being a teacher. That's my contribution to society, is being a teacher. My artwork itself, and just selling my artwork, I don't know, is contributing to society, is being a gallery show artist and painting this illustration or painting this fine art. Is that contributing to society? I don't know. I don't really think so. Maybe because you make people smile, that could be cool, and someone's got your artwork to hang on their wall. But my contribution, again, truly comes from my passion for teaching, the books that I'm able to publish and produce, the lectures that I give. That's the real contribution for me in my eyes. What advice, and this is the last question, what advice would you give to an aspiring animator such as myself? Know your business. Learn what it is, the field you're getting into. Just make sure that you understand it, whether you want to get into what form of animation you want to get into. And just be the best. Be the best you can be. Just work hard at it. You know, I was talking to someone today through the Skype mentorship that I do. You know how disappointing it is, how much it breaks my heart when people say that they're, you know, so what are you doing in your free time and all that? Well, I'm playing video games. You're 20-something years old and all you're doing is playing video games. You know, it's disappointing to me. To me, if you really want to make it in this field, in this industry, you got to just crank down. Stop messing around all the time. You got to have free time for yourself. I'm going to acknowledge that. You have to have balance. You want to play some video games. You want to go to the movies. You don't want to be just shut the door and never see the light of day ever again. That's not what I'm saying, but so many artists, there's thousands of you out there that want to be something and do something in your life, but in all honesty, you're so damn lazy that you're not going to do anything. And that's my fear for this generation, in all honesty, where my generation growing up, and I'm not like, oh, back in my day, we used to walk to school, you know. I'm not going back through in the snow, in a rainstorm. I'm not going to go back through that, but I will say my generation, we didn't have the internet. We didn't, and we had some pretty shitty games. We had Atari, and we had Pong, and Activision, and you know, it was fun for us. It's like, holy moly, Donkey Kong, come on, you know, or Frogger, you know, got across the street there. You know, Pac-Man, the original, just, you know, pretty cool for our time. But even before that, when there was, you know, nothing, but that was usually around the time, maybe I was around 13 years old when all that stuff was coming out. And it was cool. But I was still fascinated with drawing, and eventually as I got older, when I was 18, man, game on. Even though I had Nintendo, I was obsessed with Nintendo and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and all these other games that I was playing, and I loved it, but I still knew the difference between playing that and going out and drawing and trying to improve upon my skill, and that's my fear, is that people are just lazy, and they think that they can just do nothing and they're going to get somewhere in this life, in this career, and you may get lucky and you may find that job in that studio, but once you're on hiatus and once that job ends, you're going to be scrambling and it's going to be a miserable career for you. And I think people are spending, I don't know, maybe they feel entitled these days that it's just going to happen for them. And it's not, and you want to be the top of your game, because getting onto the top of your game and working hard and striving hard and doing your best and being your best is going to get you to the next level in life, and that's all we're trying to do. We are playing a video game in life, and that video game, what do we try to do in video games? We try to level up, but you got to level up in your own career, in your own path, and just pursue it and quit dicking around and monkeying around and making excuses all the time. And that's my fear. That's what I see so much of, and that's why I feel sad for a lot of artists out there, because of the lazy mentality, and all these other things are so much more important to you than really building upon your skill craft. And you want to get into that feature animation studio, you want to get into that television animation studio, you got to be good. People are looking at your portfolio and seeing how well you are, so don't fool yourself. Be true to yourself. Know that your own limitations. Know if your artwork sucks. Be honest with it that your artwork sucks. And you gotta, how do you find if that works? You gotta show it to a professional and show it to someone and be open to criticism and know. So that's what I would advise you, is just show off your work. Let it be seen. Your friends, again, I've mentioned it before, always gonna give you a thumbs up and a like. Hey, here's your like. Your artwork's awesome, dude. You know, when reality is, no, your artwork kind of sucks and you need to get better at it. Now, I'm not saying everyone's artwork sucks, because it doesn't. There's so much great stuff out there. I mean, the level of skill that people have today is just, I'm blown away by it because of the internet. So the internet became a great resource to help people learn and grow and discover artists where we didn't have that. It was so hard for us to discover all this talent, and now because you guys have such that access, the idea is grab that, learn from it, draw from it, get better, move on, and keep doing that. Sorry, Coco, I just scared you. And this is the reality, so I'm not saying don't be on the internet, but look at stuff that's going to help move you forward and keep pushing you, and that's why I'm looking at 16-year-olds today, 18-year-olds, where like, holy moly, you are so good. And now those good artists just need to learn how to be more confident in themselves, learn how to use their voice and speak up and speak out and talk to people, and just get on the beat and start putting your artwork out there for actual real people to look at it, not just on the internet, because there's so much terrific stuff. But again, I see a lot of terrific stuff out there and people doing nothing with their talent. They're just like, I don't know how to put my stuff out there. I don't know what to do. Well, what you need to do is start making your own projects and developing your own projects, and that's the sort of stuff you need to do. Anyway, that's it. Thanks again for watching, guys, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys next week. Go silvertunes.com. Check out the events. My next live class is full for my home studio workshop that I do. But if you're interested, I'm taking applications for August. If you want to submit your application, and you can do it. Don't submit an application, please, if you're unable to attend my live class that I do, my 8-week course. Just send an application. Only do it if you're truly committed. I just kind of want to see people that are committed, that can physically if they need to make the move or move out and drive, that don't, you know, I get some people that submit an application and they don't even have a car, and they call, I have no way of getting out there, so I just wanted to submit my application. Don't do that. Just, these are the sort of things you got to think about when you're doing stuff in life. Is just really, if you're gonna do it, follow through, make things happen, make things work, and that's the bottom line. Follow through with things in life and make it happen, because you can do it. All right, that's it. Make it a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. See you in Seattle. Take care.